Welcome back to the podcast. We have Kennedy here in person.
Yay.
Luckily, because we've been having so many technical difficulties. So she's actually moving back to Maryland.
Yeah. Right. Don't fool people.
I'm gonna chain her to the bedroom.
Yeah.
That sounds wrong, but
yeah. Well, as to be expected, now that I've come back, my family realizes how much more fun they have when I'm around.
We always knew that.
Well, you came back. You and Claudia are exchanging gifts, all this stuff, and I just nothing for old Brandon over here.
You don't like gifts.
You know? Claudia gets incense. She gets little jars of pickles.
Your gift is that you finished my website.
Wow. Oh my God. What a gift.
And then I'll take you out to dinner.
I told you I charge $400 an hour for
your gift
web
is
design.
that you get to cook dinner for us tonight at my house.
Oh,
and I'll
God,
put you
I
on
forgot I agreed to do that.
I'll give you an Instagram
Did you really?
shout out.
Huh? I don't need one. I don't
Did
give
he? You're cooking tonight?
He said he was.
I guess.
No, you are.
Nice.
I guess.
Your smoke detector's working.
Oh yeah. It might get. Oh no, she has a vent, so we're good.
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
we have
we do.
incense burning.
Wait,
Yeah.
the grill. You can do it on the grill.
Smells like
I
we're
don't like
trying
the
to cover
grill.
weed.
Why do you keep saying that?
Because that's how I grew up.
Oh.
In my mom's
There's incense burning right now for those of you who are confused. Kennedy got Japanese incense from New York. She's bringing stuff back here. You're like a very cultured person now, you know?
I know. New
you
York
grew up
is
in a small
changing
town
me.
in Maryland, and now you're in the big city.
No, I'm
The Big
definitely.
Apple.
When we were at dinner last night, I've gotten so used to New York restaurants that feel so like loud and claustrophobic, and like if you're sitting outside, you're probably getting like whiffs of like animal pee and trash.
Ew.
And we were sitting outside last night, and I was like, "Damn, there's so much space." Like everything in New York is so claustrophobic. Not that I'm complaining, but
That's what happened when I came back here from either the West Coast or Florida. It feels very closed in because Maryland has a lot of hills and stuff, so everything feels smaller. But then New York feels even more contained.
yeah, New York is just a whole other entity. And if you haven't been there, you don't know what it's like until you're there. Where it's just like, I feel like New York is the one place that literally feels how it does in the movies. Like it looks the same, it feels the same. There is that like magical feeling of there's so many people and so many different kinds of people that we just didn't grow up with. I mean, we did grow up around a lot of different kinds of people, but it's just not the same. There's so many interesting, talented people out there, and it just feels so different from being here.
I can't imagine living there. I don't mind visiting. But then when I'm leaving, honestly,
there, but
when it's time to leave, I'm just like, get me the out of this place.
I think it. My mom. Can you guys hear me fine? Because it sounds really low. When you're there driving, it's not an enjoyable experience.
No.
But if you're there just walking and you don't have to drive out or anything or drive in or out, I feel
Even
like it's
walking
a lot better.
still.
No, I
It
like
depends.
walking there. That's my favorite part of living there is how much walking I do without even realizing it. And
Yeah, but don't get in her way. Because if you're in front of her when she's walking, she'll literally walk into you, or like she gets.
You're Kennedy?
She has.
Kennedy walks ahead by like
Scarlett walks
100
faster than
feet.
She
me.
has walk rage.
I do have walk
Yeah,
rage.
you are a speed walker.
Yeah,
You really
you
are.
go to the airport with her. You won't see her
it's
again until
terrible.
you're on the plane.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, where'd she go? Oh, she's like a mile ahead
I'm
of us.
impatient.
No, I think New York's great, but do you want to hear what my biggest fear of New York is?
What?
When I'm there.
Oh God.
So the way New York's structured is like a giant grid.
Yeah.
And you're basically like in the middle of a giant grid. So if you ever hit the fan,
Yeah, you can't get out.
you are stuck. Because even trying to get out when there's nothing happening is hard.
Weirdly, I don't mind that because I'm like, oh, if something's happening, at least we're all stuck here together. So it's like a community building thing. But also sometimes when I'm on my balcony, I'm looking around and I'm like, this looks like a playboard. Like you can see the grid and like the blocks of like street, and it's just I'm so not used to that. And because I live in Brooklyn where there's not high rises, my building is like the highest one around me, so I can see like all of it like eclipses all of the other buildings around it. And it literally, like, especially when I'm high and I'm on my balcony, I'm looking, I'm like, I feel like I'm literally on a game board right now. And the cars look like little toy cars. You know, the toy cars you used to have when you were younger? And I would sit there and play with them because I just thought they were so like cute.
Well, have you ever seen cars from like a satellite? It looks like ants. Like have you seen like a line of ants?
Well, when you're in a plane.
Yeah, or when you're in a plane and you look down, you're like, wow, everything's so tiny.
Yeah.
It's all just like perspective.
Yeah, it was crazy because I cat sit here And I follow them when they're like on their way home and stuff, and like driving from the airport like at really late in the morning, 2:00 in the morning, and I'm up, and I did a satellite thing and I zoomed into the house as they're pulling in, and I could see my car. They must have, because it must be a satellite where they take pictures every couple days. And I literally saw my car parked the way that I park it in the driveway.
Yeah.
And I'm like, because it's not their car, because they're in the garage. And I'm like, oh, there's my car. That's crazy. And then I just like follow them I literally saw her go into the house with Life 360.
I know. Life 360 is the best.
I'm like, okay, they're safe.
I wish we could get a sponsorship from Life 360.
Yeah, whenever I need to know if you've left somewhere or
I used it this morning.
if you're going to be on time or be late, I just check.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I knew. I was like, oh God, I got to get out of the house. Brandon left.
Oh, that's how you know?
Yeah, because I knew we were going to be on time.
That's how I knew when you were
The
picking
only
me up.
alert that I ever get, you need to like charge your phone more or something. I get a 5%
Same.
remaining alert
Same.
for Claudia
I get
every
for
day.
you too.
I get it for all of
do?
you.
Really?
Yeah.
Because I pretty much let my phone get until it's almost dead and then I charge it.
You know what the
don't do
best
that.
notification was that I got yesterday? Kennedy left home. It's home
Well,
is
that
like
sounds
I guess
wrong,
that's
but
what.
you mean,
but
like,
it
'cause
says
she was
Kennedy
actually there.
Arrived home. Kennedy left home.
Wait,
I get
what's
those.
home for her?
Mine.
Your house?
Well, my house. I guess it says home. I guess.
Wait, why would she what do you mean left home?
Because
mine's labeled as
Notifies
home.
you when
you arrive and when you leave.
Yeah, I got a
Yeah, but
notification that you were
Dun-dun.
arriving to the house the
How
other
about
day.
when
I'm
it
like, he
makes
must
that
be
weird
like around
noise?
here. What did you do around my house?
I went to the gym
it makes
near
like a
your house.
Okay, there you
disturbing
go.
noise.
I don't ever have my sound on, so I don't hear the noises that it makes.
Yeah, I check it once in a while
Let me
just
just
to
say,
see where
this
you
is
guys
so
are.
much easier to do this in person.
Oh, is it? That's good enough incentive to move back here.
Well,
you know,
so
you can
much
come
less
back once a
annoying.
week.
you can live.
Yeah,
You can live in
literally.
one of Claudia and Jesse's 5 rooms that they have.
Yeah.
Doesn't work like that.
Bring your cats.
How's your experience here? Kennedy comes here. Claudia has it all set up like a little hotel for her.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah,
I love
look how
living in
great
this
it is.
house. But I also miss my cats. And
They can move here.
You wouldn't let that happen.
When Kennedy first got here and they opened up
Yes, I
the door,
would.
Claudia's standing there. She goes, "My sister," and hugged her, and I like got tears in my eyes for a split second.
Aw.
Yeah, probably wouldn't even tell you that if it wasn't for us talking right now. Isn't that weird?
I haven't seen Claudia that excited in a long time.
You didn't
really
even
wanted
see
to.
She
me.
must really care about you, Kennedy.
She does.
No, I could just tell you were excited. I did see you.
Well, obviously.
Wait, when did I see you before she was coming?
You didn't.
I don't know. You seemed excited. Maybe it was over a text or something.
Yeah.
That's the main reason I came, is because Claudia actually seemed like she wanted me to come, and she doesn't do that.
Well, obviously, I want you to come.
Yeah, but you're not like a super expressive person. So I know
Yeah.
that if you're saying something and if you're reaching out to me,
Well, because I'm used to you being literally like walking distance, like, you know.
yeah, I was waiting for it to all start to affect you guys, and then I was going to come back.
Affect us.
Kennedy, are you getting more animals than you have now?
No, I said to the universe that I want a black cat, but when the time is right, and it
Why don't
has
you
to
just take
bring
one
it
of
to me.
Mom's? She has like 3.
No, I'm not giving mine up. I
Trade.
love
I
want
mine.
to take one
Like
of
it's
Mom's
like Pokemon.
cats.
Trade in Pokemon.
I'm happy with my 2.
We might get another one.
I was
genuinely
too
do
until
Mom,
I
you gotta stop. That's
decided
not.
to keep
12.
going.
You're getting into the territory.
We were talking about it.
Mom, you're getting into
I
the
don't know.
territory where it's becoming unhealthy behavior. You have too many.
I think
Healthy.
you got to stop.
You have too many.
That's coming from me.
I'm shocked.
At this point, start a nonprofit and turn your house
11 is
into
11 is a
what's
lot
it?
of
I would do that
cats.
if I could.
11's a lot, man. Well, I walked in and like she does keep it clean because I had no allergies or anything
Yeah.
until I
and-
started touching all of them. And then
Because
I was like,
she cleans every morning.
Yeah. Me and Dakota cleaned it. I felt so bad. I left because I was rushing and she had to clean most of it. I was like, I'll just do the litter. I would have 100 if I could.
you would have 100 cats.
Or I'd have 200.
How would you keep track of them? Like,
I'd
how
have
would you know what their
500.
names are? Would you just call them? Like,
I would know their names. You easily
would they
know
be
names.
numerical?
Huh?
Would they be numerical, like 1, 2, 3, 4?
No. They'd have names. The only thing that would be hard is if certain cats look exactly alike, like my 2 black ones look exactly alike at first glance. But then if you really look at them, one's bigger than the other and you can tell in the face if you really stare. So names are easy. I remember going to Dakota's grandmother's. She has a farm and she had like 35 cats. And I was like, oh my God, I was in heaven. I'm like, how do you remember all their names? I remember saying the same thing. But when you have them, it's easily remembered. It's just like anything.
I
like,
forget their names sometimes, so I
Yeah,
definitely
okay.
wouldn't be able to remember a cat name. Okay, so Love Island's super trending right now, right?
Okay,
Pivot.
I have literally been telling you guys to watch Love Island for like
Well,
2 years.
I have a question for you. Would any of you, well, I mean,
I already know the answer.
You're
No.
getting married, so I know you wouldn't. Yeah, I know you don't care, but would you go on the show? Like, if somebody paid you like $10 million,
I got an
in
email
cash.
in 2019, I think it was, when I was literally 19.
So did I.
Just trying to scout me for Love Island USA. And I was like, obviously not, because that's my nightmare.
After watching this season, me and Jesse say all the time, we were like, we want to see ourselves on this TV. Like, how fun would we talk about if we were the couple in the villa, like how we would be acting towards each other and like how we wouldn't have any issues like these people do, because like we're not like that.
I feel like you don't know until you're in it though.
Yeah.
They mess with you like terribly.
I don't trust that. I would never go on any form of reality TV because I do not ever want someone to have control over like how I look or how I'm
like if you're
speaking.
saying like a sentence, they can take half your sentence and put it over there.
They completely manipulate,
and
the audience has literally no idea.
You
They
sign
just
your
believe
life away
whatever
on
they say.
I would do the same thing to you guys in the
It's
YouTube videos.
dehumanizing. They literally dehumanize them. They don't.
I think the worst part, one of the worst things that they did was at the end of the season, they had what they called movie night. Like, they'll send a text.
Yep.
And they always go, I got a text.
Yeah, like, oh, I hate that.
Do they make them do that, by the way?
Yes.
I think so.
Definitely.
Watching it, I was listening in, and we're so excited.
I've got a text.
I got a text.
One thing I want you to explain to me: when two new girls meet each other for the first time, why do they do that screaming thing?
I don't know.
Oh my god.
Right. Yeah, I don't know. They make them do that.
Well, I think they tell them like, be very excited, be enthusiastic.
Right.
Like,
Because
obviously
that could be a new friend for them. It's like a new girl is like.
They're like, we're gonna be besties, and then like flash forward like 4 episodes, and they're killing each other.
No, but listen, go back to the. Did you see it? Do you know the show?
I just saw the first. I know what it is.
let me
'cause they had a
explain
UK
this.
Movie night's crazy.
So movie night, they have them all sit down, and it's so up because they try and act like it's like this fun little thing, and they put popcorn and whatever, and like the girls sit on one side, the guys sit on another, and it's basically like you take turns, like, or you have to answer a question, like a trivia, and whoever gets it right, guys or girls, gets to choose which option on the movie night to pick. So it's kind of like Jeopardy in a way, but then once they pick it, it literally plays footage from the
stuff.
show of like someone talking like horrible shit about someone making out with someone that was already coupled up with someone else. So it's like they're kind of like cheating. I mean, they're not like cheating in a way, I guess. All this crazy stuff, literally the worst of the worst. And it starts fights like between all these people while they're sitting there. They're like screaming at each other and crying and walking off and whatever else. And it's like literally like, imagine, okay, obviously in everyday life, we have conversations that are between like us and our friends or us and our family or us and our significant other that it's not really meant for other people to hear. So like,
but all of it's been recorded.
So there's this one instance, this girl she was really hurt by this guy. She went in to like the makeup room where all the girls get ready, and she was kind of like ranting and being like, he's such a piece of shit, such a crybaby, he's crying in the corner, like whatever, like letting it all out. But that's something that stays between you and your friends. Like, it's not meant for his ears. She would never say it to his face, but that's just because she's letting her anger, her feelings out. And they rolled that clip, and he was literally like,
they're right. And then they might have made up. They might have been getting along.
They were good at that time.
They're getting along.
Yeah,
and
they're getting along. They've gotten past it. They're not really. This couple particularly wasn't together anymore because it just didn't work out for them. But
Who was it?
Leah and Rob.
Okay, I was wondering. That's the only couple I know.
But like they had Leah. Obviously, she says so many times that she still cares about Rob and whatever else. And
that's all I know because the whole internet ships them.
So anyway, they got past all their issues that they had. And then he sees this and he's like,
it starts a whole new thing.
He literally was like, I'm just in shock, like whatever. And then she was like, I'm so sorry. Like, I'm embarrassed to even see myself. I mean, she owns it really well. But then after the fact, like the next day she goes and talks to him and she was like, I'm just so sorry. Like, I was really hurt. Like, I would never say things like that. Like, just whatever. They made up and it was fine. And he was like, I really appreciate you apologizing.
I just feel like when you sign those papers, they tell you everything's being recorded and they know it. There's like 300 and some cameras in the whole villa.
I think it's easy to forget though when you're in the heat of the moment. Like, it's like, you can't remember constantly that like there's not people filming you. There's just cameras everywhere.
And also the people who run the show know what doing? They're psychologically manipulating these people.
Yeah.
They're literally isolated from the world. They have no connection to the world. So for 30 days, this is their world.
Yeah.
This is their family. These are their friends. This is all they know.
Right.
And after like a couple days of that, I'm sure anyone would start to like, people underestimate how much your environment has an impact on you. And no one knows what it's like to be in a position like that unless you're actually doing it.
I mean, I feel like it says a lot. Like I questioned this, like I wondered, but then found out, I think because Leah mentioned it on Call Her Daddy. I didn't watch it, but I saw like a preview where she was saying like there was one day that I got sent to psych like 3 times. So I think it's very interesting that like they have to have psych on set, basically, like ready to call these people in constantly whenever they're going through something, which you would never know because you never see these people missing or not there or like not. You know what I mean?
But I literally have been watching the show for like me and Dakota probably watched all of the seasons pretty much of the UK one and Australia. And I was telling them to watch it. Now all of a sudden, like what, 2-3 years later, she's onto it.
We've all seen Love Island before.
Well, it's super up, but people are glued to it for some reason.
We were so
it's like
glued
the
to it.
mystery of how disturbing it's gonna get.
I was just
This
never into it, but
specific-
like, this cast,
It's
like
this specific
these people,
season because they just casted people well, where they look like real people. And
What do you mean look like real people?
well, people like to say, I don't know. I've just seen people saying about the UK version where they all just have like tons of filler and.
I mean,
and
not
their
all of them.
filler
I mean,
looks
some.
bad.
I mean, they're pretty normal to me looking. I don't know. Whatever. I mean, some of them have great bodies. Some of them have less great bodies.
Really
like they're all like people.
I genuinely, for the most part, loved like every person on this season, like for different reasons. Like they all felt like literally like I can't even explain, but they had like a perfect balance of every type of person.
That's what I'm saying. I think they like checked all
the
of the
other
boxes.
ones are like that too. You should try them when you're done that.
How much isn't there like 30 seasons of the UK
They're like,
one?
yeah, but like UK one. Okay, so the UK one, they seemed to I think they drew it out for like 6 weeks, and the drama on it was slow. It could be slower, but the Australian versions were much faster. And every single time, like you got used to a couple being together, new people would come in, and it would be like blast the whole place apart, like and cause more drama and like constant like that. Though,
Mom, do you remember when we like auditioned for
oh yeah, I was gonna bring that up, but I wanted to let them do that. Yeah, that was during COVID. So I can't remember who got even in touch with us. Somebody from like
they hit up you, I think,
production
on your
company.
Instagram.
Yeah, somebody that was like they wanted to do a reality show with moms and like young looking moms and sons who are close to their age.
M.I.L.F. Manor?
Yeah, it was M.I.L.F. Manor.
Yes.
They wanted us to be on it.
We were interviewed both separately for an hour on Zoom. And then because of COVID, it was extended like another year. By then, Brandon had a girlfriend and I had a girlfriend. That's funny.
Ew.
Both their girlfriends.
Well, why would it matter if you had
we went
someone?
through the
That's
whole
so weird.
audition.
Have you heard about that show though? About
They
what
said
they
no,
do?
you have to really be single.
Yeah, you like swap
Rhett
mothers
and
and
Link
sons.
talked about it. Rhett was talking
is
about it
legit
on their
sick.
podcast where I forget exactly what it is, but they have the hot moms and then the sons, and they
swap. The moms go with
We
some of the
didn't know
sons
that,
and the sons
though.
go with the moms, and then it's like
Yeah, I remember they were trying to put words in Brandon's mouth in his interview. Remember that? Because I
Yeah,
like
it was
snuck down the
weird.
steps because I wanted to hear his interview and I wasn't supposed to. And I'm like listening and I could hear them saying like asking him questions and he's like, no. And she kept trying to put words in his mouth like,
She, like, wanted me to
don't you
say
like
certain
older
things."
women? And he's like, not really. I really don't go for older women. Like not as old as my mom.
Ew.
And she's like,
Ew,
oh
ew,
well.
ew,
And then
ew,
asked him again.
she kept trying to
These
manipulate my answers.
producers are like crazy.
Yeah. She
Yeah.
kept trying to do it.
I was
And then-
like, I know what she wants to hear, but like, I don't believe that. Like, I don't.
Why did you guys even audition?
Because it
I
could
don't
have been an
know. We were just
opportunity. You
Well,
never
here's the
know.
thing: they wouldn't tell us what it was about.
Right.
I had
they
no
made it very
idea you
vague.
guys
Yeah, they
did
did.
this. Did you,
You
keep
remember?
it a secret or
I didn't know
something?
it
No,
was
you just didn't care.
I didn't
Yeah,
know
you
it was
didn't
for M.I.L.F. Manor.
No,
we didn't know either. They were just like, we
Oh,
need
you
a,
didn't know?
No, they said we
No.
need a mother and son for a reality show about, and it has to do with dating.
I
So
was
for
gonna
all I
say.
could have known,
Right.
it was like trying
Hold
to
on,
find
I'm
a
looking
like
right.
a
Can you
husband or something for
imagine
her.
if it wouldn't have been delayed a year and then we were like, okay, we'll be on it, and then we're just like stuck in that.
You never
type
would
of-
have because
I don't think we
Brandon
would've known.
knows better than that.
Yeah, I think I was doing it out of curiosity.
Yeah.
Well,
And we were bored.
didn't we get it?
Yeah, we did
Wait,
get it.
how
got
is there also older men on
Of course
it?
you got it. Who else are they going to
M.I.L.F.
use?
Manor.
I don't know. That's what we were
Probably
saying. I
took
wonder
them
who
like
else they're
2
gonna
years
use.
just to find people willing to do
Maybe
that.
that's why it was
That's
delayed.
straight up so
they couldn't find
weird.
other people.
That's
And then me and him didn't want to do it anymore.
That's, whoever created that show, you're a weirdo. Like with complete confidence, I can call you a weirdo.
God, yeah.
Yeah. Well, also, I'm sorry if you're willing to go on it and like your mom
Yeah.
is basically like, yeah, come date these women my age,
Ew,
and
it's
I'm gonna
making me
date
so
the boys that are your age.
I feel like it's like a guy's worst possible like nightmare.
I kind of want to watch it now.
You should watch it.
Corey, didn't
that
you
would
say it's
genuinely
cheesy?
make me so something. Ew, it's just really grossing me out.
They have a second season, I think.
He couldn't get
Damn,
through one
we
episode.
could have been on the second season, Mom.
Well, usually the first episodes always suck because they're just like introducing everyone, and I feel like it's.
Fun one.
I feel like a second season would be even crazier.
Yeah, you should
'Cause they
watch
have
that
to,
and
like-
then report back and let me know how it is.
I'd watch an episode. I'd try.
I think it's all kind of odd that like you're like going with your child and
Right.
basically
No, it's
gonna
not
date.
okay.
No, it's not okay.
It's I don't know how the show got made.
You're gonna date boys that are the same age as your child, like.
It's basically Love
No, I
Island, but with
wouldn't have.
mothers and sons.
Well, for younger guys,
wouldn't
it's
have.
like glorified in the culture, and then for younger women, it's like looked down upon. That's just the way it is in the culture.
I wasn't even going
That's how it
as
is
young
with teachers,
as
like the 18-year-olds
friends.
who have with their teachers.
right.
Like
Well,
an 18-year-old guy, if an 18-year-old guy is a teacher, then all of his friends are like, "Dude, that's awesome." But if a girl does it, then it's a nightmare. Like everything hit the
Yeah,
fan.
I said this to who did I say to? Did I say to you the other day? Girls don't, or maybe it was Brandon. Girls don't have daddy issues. Men have. Wait, what?
Men
was
have
it?
mommy issues,
No, men have daughter issues.
daughter issues.
Well, it's just like I was thinking about how when someone says a girl has daddy issues, and it's like it makes it seem like it's her fault. And it's like it's dad's fault. She didn't do anything. The dad was the one who did something, and yet now she's
Right.
labeled as she has daddy issues.
Right.
She's ahead.
right.
Like I wonder why? Because no, yeah,
It's all messed up, and it's always going to be the adult's fault, not the child.
literally. But then
Always.
if it's like a pretty young girl who I don't know, whatever.
There's always a reason why they're
Well,
acting
if
like
you're
that.
like if you're in your 40s, like that one movie we watched, if you're in your 40s, what's too young to date? Like if you're a 45-year-old woman,
Well, don't
Yeah,
let
be careful
Don't let
here.
mom
What's too
answer
young?
that.
Be careful here.
Don't let mom answer
Yeah.
that. I'm gonna. Well, did you see Claudia? Look up the graph. Okay, so I have another statistic for
are you
you.
gonna whip out the
of
stats?
men versus women. Every week I'm gonna have a new man versus women statistic. It was a graph of like men's ages and women's ages as they get older and the correlating age of what they would prefer their partner to be. And for the women's graph, it's basically like just a straight diagonal line of like as they get older, they prefer normally women prefer someone a little bit older or the same age as them. Obviously there's a few outliers like mom, but for the most part,
Far outlier.
that's what the graph is.
Yeah.
And for men, it's straight down.
Yeah.
And it's
As
just
they get older?
20, yes.
All young,
2021,
probably.
2021,
Yep.
2021. It does not deviate.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying. Older men,
Wow.
like the range is always 2021 around that.
Yeah.
That's what I was saying last time.
It's sick.
And somebody said some shit about the comment that I made on that when it's an actual fact.
No. Yeah. I'm not even going to get into that.
Okay, I would not want 21.
Well, I
No,
would
no,
hope
that's
not.
No
that's
way.
men for women.
I know, I get it.
I think also a large part of the reason mom dated such young guys is just because you had trauma and you didn't like you were so unhealed. You didn't even know what. I don't even think you knew what you wanted.
I didn't, but I think also because I've thought about this many times, obviously, but I think it was also because younger guys aren't, don't take it the wrong way, everybody, but they don't know what they want yet. And
I mean,
they're
yeah, that's
easily,
true.
I'm going to just say easily trained, but that's not what I want to say because that's not how I think about
Sounds
it.
so wrong.
It's
Yeah,
wrong.
it sounds
but
wrong,
that's
but it's
what
just-
they would say. It's like easily huh?
There's a nugget of truth in there.
Yeah, like,
But also-
like they could get used to your way. This is my life. You're going to get used to my life. I'm not going to get used to yours. Older men are so stuck. I tried it. They're so stuck in their ways. And I couldn't agree. So I'd butt heads.
I'm gonna say a potentially hot take, very hot take, and say that not all the time, but most of the time really, really dislike when people are like, well, if the roles were reversed and men were doing that, then everyone would be freaking out. And I'm like, but yeah, they would, because it's different. It's different when a man does something versus when a woman does something because of how the world views us. Like, it's never going to be the same, probably. And I just hate when people say that, like, oh, if the roles were reversed, people would be freaking out. But they're not. And when they are reversed, yes, people freak out, rightfully so.
The reason I think it's harder for a girl to find a good guy is because I feel like with guys, there's a sweet spot of when they're ready.
Yeah.
So when you're really young, you got to go through your experiences and figure out who you are. You're going to date around like crazy because you're going to be like date somebody and be like, oh, there's something better out there.
Yeah.
You're going to keep hopping around. But listen, if you're too old, then you become locked in your ways. So you got to find that like sweet spot.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was listening when me, Claudia, and Jesse were driving home last night from dinner, and Jesse was talking about, because I always find the male perspective on dating and how they view women, especially women that they're like attracted to. I find it so interesting. And he was talking about how when he met Claudia, and it was just like kind of so instant, not like instant from when he saw her, but after like the first night, and like it was basically that whole weekend that you guys spent together, but with Brandon and everyone else. And he was just saying like, he just knew and he made the effort. And it's just like, when a guy likes you, you will know.
Yeah.
Like, there will be no doubt in your mind. If there's a doubt in your mind, he doesn't like you, or
exactly.
or maybe he's slightly intrigued by you, but not enough. And it's like, if there's any doubt in your mind, man or woman, this goes for anyone.
Yeah,
if
I
you're
agree
not,
with that.
If you're unsure about someone liking you, they don't like you. And that's
Right.
what you should start telling yourself. And it's not, oh, but what if? And what if he's just shy? Or what if he blah, blah, blah? It doesn't matter.
Well, it's because it's a reflection of themselves.
Yeah.
So you have to understand that the person doesn't like you, not because of you, but because you don't work for them.
Exactly.
It's not a reflection of like, you're a piece of
Exactly.
It's more just like, it's not working.
And
like,
you deserve,
they need a different person.
and you deserve better than that. You deserve someone who makes you feel immediately like they like you.
Yeah.
And when something's right, it will feel right. If something constantly feels wrong, is constantly giving you anxiety.
That is so true. I
just
spent
listen to
so
yourself.
much time questioning
or
whether somebody
trying.
liked me or vice versa. Like, it was
It's
so
that simple.
much wasted time.
Literally,
for
because
myself.
women especially are always like, oh, what are men thinking? What are men thinking? I've seen men say again and again, and I've seen it with my own eyes, where if a guy likes you, you will just know. There will be no question.
Yeah.
Same thing with the
did
opposite.
you think, were you fully confident in yourself when you were dating those people? Because did it?
No.
So them seeming like they didn't like you or something was a reflection of like your
Correct.
insecurities
And
about
that's
yourself.
why I always say now, like, now it really makes sense. You get to know yourself. You get to truly, truly love yourself. And people say, love yourself, love yourself. It's so true.
Yeah,
Because
but I
if
want
you
you to talk
truly,
more about
truly
that
love
because
yourself.
you said the other day when we were talking, like when you were in these toxic relationships and stuck in this cycle, you said people would always tell you like, oh, you need to love yourself before you blah, blah, blah. But you're like, how do you do that?
Right. I did not know how to do it. And then we have the tools within us. But it takes time. So one of the things that I should have done was be by myself. And instead, I kept trying to find somebody to be with me for other reasons. But you're a reflection, like you said. It's like you're looking in the mirror, and that is what you're going to attract wherever you are in your life. And if you like yourself or love yourself, if you just like yourself a little, you'll find somebody that likes yourself a little.
Yeah, well, I think the problem is the saying like love yourself to a lot of people doesn't actually mean anything.
It doesn't.
Like love
It was
yourself
very
reminds me
hard
of
to-
something they stick on like a mug or like a t-shirt.
Yeah.
But like what action do you actually
feel
take
like-
in order to do that?
I would say
like, what does that mean?
instead of love yourself, you should say spend time with yourself.
Yeah, I think the first step is be alone. It's the hardest
Like-
thing for people to do. It was the hardest thing for me to do. I couldn't do it. I tried. You guys kept saying, "Oh, you're Kennedy." I remember her saying at one point, "You're dating so many people. Why don't you just don't date anybody else?" And I'm like, I can't.
What was like the craving for?
Well, number one, I already know, like loneliness. You get scared to be alone. It's really scary being alone.
Well, here's the thing. You're never actually really alone because you're not with like a person in a romantic relationship, but you have like friends, family,
I remember my
so you're not
therapist
really
telling
alone.
me you're not right, but yet you feel very, very, very alone.
Well, because you don't have somebody there to validate you. That's why.
Maybe I don't know, but okay.
To validate you, to help take care of yourself.
For me, though, it changed because my reasoning for finding a guy in the very beginning, like when me and dad first split up, was, oh my God, my children aren't going to have a guy around. Like, I'm not going to have a guy around to, or have
God,
help.
and we didn't want one.
Right, but you didn't. But I was like, oh my God, I have to do this all by myself. Like, it's a really scary
But
feeling.
as if any of these guys actually helped you parent, they did not.
No, they didn't help me
Luis
parent,
did,
but like
so
I
you
kept
had to
thinking
parent
like
them.
financially too. I was just like, oh my God, I can't live on just my income. What am I going to do?
So you found the most broke man.
Literally, you could have lived on your
Yeah,
income.
you did the opposite.
Yet
of
you
that.
added another
Immature
person
broke
in to have to pay for.
Because then the other part was I really want to find true love, like whatever that meant to me. And I'm thinking like money doesn't matter. Money will come. My mindset was money will follow if I find true love. And yeah, none of that really happened.
I think so many people
I
have
think true love will follow if you find money.
Your true love is your kids.
What? My true love
saying
were my
I'm
kids.
just saying
but
you got to be
still.
financially secure before you can even get to that
Yes,
stage.
because not having that financial stability, whatever your situation is, like whatever you basically require for your like living needs, so much stress comes into the equation. And like it's hard, it really is hard to just like relax and feel stress free and like pure just like calm happiness, I guess, if you're constantly worried about like how am I going to afford this,
definitely.
how am I going to pay
you,
this
you
bill.
can't sit down with somebody and have an actual like true like intellectual emotional conversation and really hear what they're saying if in the back of your head you're like, I gotta like pay for that.
That
How
was
am I gonna
me.
pay for my car?
I feel like people also who are in positions like that, or well, I feel like it's the best time to meet someone is obviously when you're doing good and you don't need someone. When you're like so self-sustainable
Yeah.
that a person should be adding to your life and they should be adding a positive contribution to your life. If they're making your life harder or more stressful or whatever, then maybe they should. Maybe you should rethink how much they should be in your life.
Definitely.
Jesse says that one of his best friend's dad said to him, does she compliment or complicate your life? And that's your answer.
Yeah.
Okay, and here's the other part of it too. It's like, you know, you want to be with somebody. I definitely chose, if you are going to put first, you're not going to know who you are, because I feel like, and we were talking about this, clouds everything.
Yeah.
If you can keep that separate, and most human beings cannot keep that separate. They can't.
Even if they
have to
say
jump
they
in
can,
bed with them.
even if you say you can keep, I mean, I think men do have an easier time keeping separate, but even hearing guys talk, like they still, if they're like a normal human being with empathy, they still feel something for a girl they had with, even if it was like a one night stand or it made them feel like or whatever. Like they're not robots. Some
There
people
are
might be, but
also so many guys, like this is how I felt. I'm sure there's tons of people that can relate, but if I, for some reason, if we were fighting and I didn't have sex with that guy, my worry was, oh my God, he's gonna go cheat and go somewhere else. So I need to keep going if I want to keep this guy.
That's
in my life.
actually crazy.
That's
Yeah.
horrible.
I'm so grateful to say I never once in my life have felt that feeling and
I'm
felt
so
like
glad.
I owe
haven't
anyone that.
I'm so glad.
But like,
and Brandon wouldn't.
but even like,
Oh, yeah.
I just can't imagine. Like, I genuinely feel like, I mean, this goes for any relationship I've ever been in. I've never felt like I have to give them that in order to keep them. If they don't want to say because of that, then off. I don't care, because it's not about you. But well, it's not all about you.
it's not about that.
Yeah, it's not about like your needs in that aspect. Because like,
in my opinion, if a relationship can't thrive without, it's not meant to last, because
yeah, I think it's an important part, but I think it's one of those things that just comes alongside having a really good relationship. Is like, you should want to do that with that person, and it shouldn't be a requirement
Yeah.
to keep the relationship happy and going. Like,
I always felt like it.
So what do you
was.
think in this situation? As men get older, their drive decreases, and as women get older, their drive increases.
I don't think that's true.
I don't think
it is true. It is true.
It is.
I
It
don't-
is.
Women's drive peaks around like
40
35,
or something.
40.
Yeah. So basically at that time men's are going down while women's are going up, so it creates like a weird
well, you
dynamic.
should meet in the middle.
And that's why a lot of older women
I'm
get mad because their
just
sons
counting on that
I mean,
happening
not their
to me.
sons.
Jesus.
Literally.
A lot of older women get mad because their husbands aren't putting out, so they end up cheating because the husband
I
they're
mean,
like
that's not a
bored.
reason to cheat,
Is
but
that a
also,
thing? And also, I don't think men's drive does go down. There's like 60-year-old pervy men.
A lot go down.
They'll get
Why do you think you need
they'll get erectile dysfunction? Yeah, because that's just because they become incompetent.
I don't know. Some men are horny until the day they die. They die with a hard on.
Incompetent?
Yeah, that's literally the definition of incompetent.
What is?
What?
Not being able to get hard?
Well, not being able to do something, but incompetence, male incompetence is literally not being able to get your hard.
So you're just useless. Your one purpose in life is pretty much gone.
Yeah, how do you feel about that one, men?
No,
Yeah,
I mean,
I
get
can't
hard. What are
relate
you
to like
doing?
the regular statistics of that because I just don't
Well,
fit
there's
into
obviously
it.
outliers. These are just statistics
Yeah.
from like
I
studies people
don't fit
see
did.
into
myself peaking in my 30s. Like, I just know I keep getting more confident with age. I know, like, by the time I'm like 31, I'll be like, I just hope with age, I just keep giving less and less of what people think of me and how I'm perceived. And because I know at my core who I am and I like who I am.
Yeah,
and that's all that
keep on
matters to
going.
me.
That's what everybody needs to do.
it's so sad to me to think about how rough of a time it is from like the time you are like 15 to basically like 24. I feel like because you're doing so many things that I don't know, that can like hurt you emotionally, that like you might regret. I mean, given I have no regrets on anything like I did with anybody or like or dating or whatever, because it all was like a lesson for me. But like if I could look back now, like if me as being 27 could look back on myself at like 17, I'd be like probably feeling sad for this girl who thinks that like everything's about being hot to guys and like
Right.
having boobs and having a butt and you know what I mean? Like, it's just so sad that like every girl basically does have to go through this phase
No,
of
I
life.
think about this all the time. Me and Scarlett watched a movie the other day. I forget what it was, but I was like, if I would have grown up watching movies like this, because I grew up watching like rom-coms made by men that were like, where the woman was always like stunning and had big boobs and a tiny waist and a big butt and were like pretty clothes and was a certain type of way. And I grew up wanting to be that woman so bad. And like, yeah, there's still parts of me that's like, wants to be that woman, but now I'm like, how much of that was shaped by a man? And like, how would I have grown up if I would have grown up only watching
if
like
you go back to like even the old movies, it was always about the hottest
exactly
woman, you know, in their clothing. Look at Marilyn Monroe.
Exactly.
She was like she's an icon.
And I'm not
so-
saying it in a completely negative way because it's fun to play into that as a woman and whatever. I'm sure we would want to do that even without men's perspective, but like it makes you question how much of wanting to look a certain way is based off of like what we grew up watching. And
Yeah, I feel like there's a lot of pressure on women to,
Well, yeah, that's
to
no.
look good and be that person that, you know, every guy wants, and then you have all that, and then, you know, and say they're struggling and they don't even know. That's why people in the cosmetic industry is doing so well. Everybody's getting their lips done and this done and that
Yeah,
done.
and
I
then
mean,
they get-
there's nothing that's going to stop that. I do it. I'm guilty of it.
And then once they get the filler, everyone's like, oh, she had filler. She's not even aging naturally, like blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you just cannot win.
Well, I think people used to do it for men, but now I think they're doing it for the culture because
Well, yeah, now it's so out
like
of
people are
control.
aware of these things. Nothing changed. People are still trying to reach like pinnacle of beauty. So
Yeah.
people
Yeah.
are aware of the reason why it
it's
happened in the
only
first
getting-
place, but they're still doing it.
It's only getting
Right.
worse because of social media. Now you have such access to like, and even when I was 14, girls that I literally am mutuals with now, I would look at their profiles who were just like stunning models. And I would be like, oh my God, I wish I looked like that. Oh my God, I wish I looked like that. And girls who looked nothing like me. And that's all I would think as a 15-year-old girl was I'd never be looking in the mirror and thinking, wow, I like the way I look. It would always be looking at pictures of other girls and thinking, wow, I wish I looked like them. So it's like everybody does it.
Everybody. I
would
think
say,
everything.
yeah,
I think you're
absolutely.
shaped from like
the time I watched like Hannah Montana, I was like, oh, I want to look like Selena Gomez and like dress like her in Wizards of Waverly Place.
It's
or
so
like,
funny because for you it's that.
I
For me
want-
it was Charlie's Angels.
I want Hannah Montana's house.
I mean, I feel like boys do the same thing, but it's like, it's always going to be different. Like, I feel like any conversation like this, I always think of the opposing people are being like, well, men experience that too. And it's
Which
like,
I think they do.
Yeah, of course they do, but it's just not the same.
well, you're gonna compare yourself to whatever's like basically
Depends on what you're into. Like, for example, like people that do like bodybuilding or work out a lot, like what Jessie does, I feel like it's kind of the same thing. I'm sure they look at other guys that are like bigger or
Yeah.
Well,
taller,
you compare
whatever.
yourself to whatever's popular in the culture. So for women, it's beauty. So it's a ranking of beauty. That's what Instagram is. It's literally a ranking of beauty and attention.
Yep.
So you look at it's worse than it used to be when you were kids, because now you look at it and you can see every single person on the planet all at once.
Literally. And I will fully admit that like social media is just so not a representation of real life. Like I cannot stress that enough. It's not at all. Like there's so much you don't know. Literally, like go on our Instagrams. It is the absolute like best version of us.
Yeah, but the issue is there's no other place to go to see the actual true version.
Well,
so
I don't
it's
think
like
that's necessary.
Yeah, so it's an illusion, but people see they don't know any different. They only see the illusion.
Yeah.
Well,
on
yeah, they know
Instagram.
different because I'm saying it right now. Like that's
Yeah,
not
but-
real.
Yeah, but still, you're saying it. But like, if they saw it, then it would make it. Like, for example, if they actually saw those, I'm not saying to like do those things. I'm saying it's hard for somebody to be like to hear it versus actually seeing it.
Well, when I started my YouTube channel, I struggled with like, I don't know if this is, what is it called? What's that term? Imposter syndrome. I don't know if this was imposter syndrome or not, but like I would, because my YouTube videos would be very like, you know, me, no makeup on, having glasses. I was so insecure when I started my YouTube channel. I did not like the way I looked, and I would also edit myself for like 15 hours straight.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know. I honestly think in the end it helped me love myself more, because I was just like, this is my face. I'm tired of picking it apart and being like, ew, I look so bad in there. Like, shut up. Who cares? And after, but doing that as like a young girl, what was my original point?
Imposter syndrome. Did you call it that?
Yeah. So I would look at my Instagram, which was all like very posed and edited, and because I've always loved taking pictures and dressing up just to take photos and then taking all the makeup off right afterwards. And I would do that. And then my Instagram, me and my YouTube would be such different people, and I would be so insecure about it. I'd be like, oh, I look nothing like my Instagram photos, and then people click on my YouTube and I look like a completely different girl, and I'm ugly without makeup, and I don't look good without makeup. And that was such a huge insecurity of mine growing up as a like teenage girl, is that I looked ugly without makeup. And I was so, but what did it stem from? Men thinking I looked ugly without makeup. So I was
Which
like,
is,
well,
it's funny because
boys.
nowadays I post YouTube videos and I'm like, I'll look at them and I'll be like, damn, I didn't look too great in these clips. Like maybe it's like not that great of a video because I don't look too great. And then honestly, I'm just like, who the cares?
literally, it just doesn't
That's
matter.
what I look like when I'm home and doing nothing and filming. And yeah, sometimes my face is broken out and I have acne all over and whatever else. And there's nothing you can do about it. I'm not going to put on makeup just to film clips of a video. Then it becomes more unrealistic. Like if I'm filming my life, like this is what my life is and that's it. If you think I'm ugly, don't watch it.
I promise you nobody's thinking that.
No, I think my advice for somebody for Instagram would be like, if you're putting out photos and videos because it's an art form for you, like you like getting dressed and doing something because it's a form of art, the same way if you were to do a painting, I think that's like healthy to post that kind of stuff. But if you're purely doing it because you're going to post it and then you're just going to sit there and stare at the likes and see how many people actually care about the way you look, then that's just it's just toxic. You might as well just not do it because you're not getting anything out of it.
I think like it's hard if you're like, when I first started getting an audience, of course, like you're glued to the screen, especially I was 18. Like all of a sudden I have this influx of people like paying attention to me, and like it was like something I'd literally dreamt about my whole life, and now it was like all of a sudden there.
Wait, do we have any more messages? I want to play some.
Yeah.
Okay, this is from Hannah.
Hey guys, my name is Hannah, and I have a question for Mama Jen. I want to know what she did throughout her life to make her look so good at this age. I literally look at her and I think, yeah, that's what I hope I look like when I'm older. So I want to know if she has any like beauty or wellness tips to help a girl out for whenever she gets older. Anyways, love you guys so much. Bye.
You just made Mama Jen's day, Hannah.
Thank you, Hannah. I love you. There's so much
beans.
stuff though, huh?
I said, spill the beans.
I mean, the first thing I think is working out and eating healthy. It sounds so typical, but it really isn't. Getting enough sleep and drinking enough water, eating the right things. You are what you eat. But then when it comes down to the stuff that aging starts to happen and you can't control it, then I'd say Retin-A and all the like really good Retin-A stuff. And
Tell them a lot of people don't know what that is.
it's like a vitamin A, extra vitamin A
cream.
It can come in ointment, but using it consistently all the time, you can just look into it. Some are prescriptions, some you can get other places. It just depends, and stuff with Retin-A in it. Also glycolic, all that kind of stuff works.
Same thing as like retinol.
Yeah, retinol.
It's basically like an acid that sort of peels your skin, and then your skin grows back stronger.
Yeah, and using it for years and not even thinking about it, like brushing your teeth. And then recently, when I hit like 40s, I started really seeing things, which I would not suggest doing, but fillers are really good if you go to somebody that's really, really trustworthy and doesn't overdo it. So, and not necessarily, I made the mistake of putting it under my eyes. Don't do that. So I know the things to do and not do. But one of the main things I truly believe help me is chemical peels. And they're so old. They're like ancient. Like this, they've been doing these TCA peels for so long. And that's another thing. It's like all these new things are coming up, which is great because like kids your age, you guys can do it.
So what does a chemical peel do? Like what's the process?
So a chemical peel is like a controlled acid burn. So it's like throwing acid on your face, but a doctor's doing it and he's carefully applying it. So as it's going on, it's turning white because all that skin, that top layer is burning off. So they have like 20%, 30%. I will only do 20%. If you look up on Google, 30% TCA peels, it is scary what happens to some of them. They swell up. They look like they're literally like, they look like they were on fire in their face. It's terrifying.
Yeah. So it's a similar process to the Retin-A cream, just a lot stronger.
I don't think
controlled.
it's similar to that. It's not
acid,
like Retin-A.
though.
But if you do use Retin-A and then you do a TCA peel, it really does make a difference as far as how quickly your skin will peel. Mm-hmm. But now they have like PRP and microneedling and all these things that are really cool, but they would work for somebody that's already has good skin and wants to keep it good. So there's like, my mom is really into this too. And I looked up to her and I was like, oh my God, I have to look as young as my mom. That was my influence. You know, that was my like, my guide, basically my muse. So I would look at her. The things that she did back then are so different than the things that we do now that still work, but some of the stuff still stuck. And all these new procedures, like I said, they're great, but like they're so expensive. And like people are like, I'm like, oh my God, there's so much money. Like how are people able to afford that? And TCA peels could be like once a year if you start to do that at a certain age. A lot of times TCA peels for people who have acne scars, very deep pitted acne scars, they would use it for that. But now I use it at 20%. I go to a very good doctor that knows how to put it on right. And I do it now once a year. There was times where I was doing it every 3 months because of certain things that my skin just looked uneven. I truly, truly believe in that. You can also overdo that easily. So be very careful with those and just be careful in general who you go to. Just make sure you really research.
What are the
doctors.
consistent things if you're like 20 years old that you could start doing?
Okay, so for the skin itself, like I said, like Retin-A is really good, but as far as like going, if you're 20, doing the microneedling, if you can find a nurse practitioner or somebody who's doing it, that's affordable, then go for it. It's not going to hurt your skin. Like it's going to help your skin, obviously.
Staying out of the sun,
although I didn't do that for a long time. Lots of SPF.
Staying hydrated.
Definitely, I said staying hydrated is a huge thing. But then the body,
I feel like it's all the things that everyone already knows. It's just like do them.
Yeah, but then the body wise, like, you know, a lot of people my age look old. Like they just don't look.
I feel like at your age,
man,
there's
they
a
look
really
so,
big
like,
range of like looking young versus really,
I feel
really
like
old.
our generation like is normalizing really, really taking care of yourself, like mental health wise and physically. So I feel like it's just different, and it is more of a rarity to see in your generation someone actually aging like really, really well.
I think
And also
skincare and like SPF is like more popular than it's ever been, I feel.
But then body wise, like working out is like it. Like you have to work out. I've literally worked out since I was 16 years old. And I had a very, very large chest as a child. It's like a kid that's 16. That's a child to me. 16's a child.
It is.
So I did. And I would use like flattening bras and like people when I met dad. And I was like, I hated them. And then when I had kids, literally they sucked the life out of me and I had like skin left. So I had to fill them. And now I had 2 breast augs, but you know, that was the best thing I did because it brought my confidence level back up. And that's when I started doing body painting, but I never stopped working out ever. And like, I truly believe, like, I think if I stopped working out, maybe it was the most was like a couple of months and I felt like shit. So as soon as I felt like that and realized it, I just went right back into, and it doesn't have to be working out like the gym. For me, that's what it was, but it could be walking, running.
And you eat a
hiking.
lot too.
And yeah, I ate a lot back then. Really ate a lot.
So that just goes to show that you can still, you don't have to completely restrict yourself.
No, yeah.
Food-wise.
I definitely wasn't like, I mean, I'm always aware of it. I'm always aware of what I'm eating, and you can go by what your body feels like. You'll just know. So I think little bits at a time to just like roundabout give you that quick answer is just little bits at a time, and don't stop working out and doing the right things for yourself.
And listen to your body.
Yeah, and listen to your body.
Okay, let's do one more because I think this is a pretty good one.
Hey guys. Well, I just wanted to send a voicemail because I love y'all, first of all. Second of all, I wanted to ask because I know all of y'all have gotten really successful online, and I've really been trying to build up my TikTok platform, and I've been posting frequently, and I just feel like I haven't really gone anywhere, and just I would ask if y'all had any tips for going successful or being successful on the internet. But yeah, love y'all so much. Been watching y'all for so many years, and hope y'all have a great day. Bye.
She didn't say her name, but
Love
you.
This is probably good for you too.
I was going to say, Claudia.
Well, let me think. For one, you have to make content that you actually enjoy. Mm-hmm. So you have to, you can't just be doing it just because you're like, oh, I want to grow. Like it has to be actually things that you enjoy doing in your daily life. That's one. For two, it has to be good quality. You can use your iPhone. That's what I use, but you can't be filming in dark lighting. Mm-mm. It can't be fuzzy looking. It has to be high quality. You have to be confident in what you're doing. You also don't hold back.
You have to understand the mind of the consumer, which everyone should, because everyone consumes social media just as much as everyone else. And I'm assuming if you're making content, you're probably making content that you also enjoy watching. Mm-hmm. So you need to, my brain is fried. It's so hard to keep my train of thought. I see like one tree outside and all of a sudden I'm thinking about the damn tree.
You have to think about what you enjoy watching. Like, let's say, okay, for example, I always enjoyed watching like the Get Ready With Me videos and people doing the little vlogs and stuff. And that's what I make. Mm-hmm. And it inspired me, and that's like basically how I created a whole TikTok following, was just because I really enjoyed something and I was like, I can do this too, and I just did it my own way with my own life and whatever else. And it's if you can make content you're genuinely proud of and that you feel like you would enjoy watching, to share. Yeah, and it's like so fun to post because you're like, oh, but you have to also understand like it doesn't happen overnight,
right?
We did have like a lucky situation that like because we were all doing it kind of helped having people to bounce off of and use in videos and like basically like collab with. But you definitely don't need that. Like I have a friend who she's a nurse and she started posting nursing content, and I told her, I was like, you just have to do it and you have to post every day and you never know what can happen. But she got creative with it, started making content that she felt like would be interesting to other people, like educational content, and she actually has grown a following because of it and started making money on TikTok. So it's just like all about, I feel like
consistency.
The way that I look at it now is if you're not in, like, I think that the whole beauty in being a content creator, influencer, whatever, and having that as a job is like, you genuinely get to do something you actually enjoy every day and make money from it. What I do never feels like work to me. And now the relationship I have with making content is I only make it if I actually want to, if I actually am enjoying it. And then I'm excited to share it. If I'm not actually enjoying it or I'm not proud of it, whatever, I never post something just to post it. I've never in my life posted something just to post it.
Yeah, but like I think in the beginning consistency is so huge. Like how many times do you post, Claudia, now? And she doesn't even have to post as much. Kennedy, you don't even have to post as much.
Yeah, but it's different content type. She posts more like daily type content where it's just like that fits for her. For me, it's like now I post more art related stuff, I feel like. And that takes a
so
lot
the difference is how often do you post compared to
I
how
don't
often she
even
posts?
I don't even know because I just post when I feel like it. That's all I think about. I don't even think about like schedule. I don't think about.
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like you have to like it enough where you don't even think about like the posting.
Yeah, you can't worry
consistency.
about
It's like
it.
you're so
Yeah.
excited that you just want to keep
Yes,
posting.
but starting out, you really do have to post like if you're trying to grow on TikTok, my biggest point of advice is literally posting daily. Because
like once a day,
But don't
just
burn
once a
yourself.
day?
The thing is, don't burn yourself out though.
I mean,
because
don't do if you're starting to feel like, oh, like obviously if you need to skip a day, skip a day. Like I skip days all the time. Sometimes I skip 2 days if I'm like I have nothing to film, I have no desire to film it, and I kind of just want to like be offline for right now. That's what I do. But for the most part, the reason that I've grown so much on TikTok is because I never take like a week at a time off from posting. I literally sometimes will post 3 times in a day.
Right, I was gonna say
so like
that.
if you're having fun filming that day and you have multiple types of content or you have something like even if it's similar, post all those 3 content. Like there's no posting rules, there's no like, it's just put the content out there and make sure it's quality, consistency, and that you actually enjoy it, and it will probably go somewhere.
Yeah, this is from an outside perspective because I don't touch TikTok, but the few times that I've been on it, the things that catch my attention that I think anyone could do is when they go to like little coffee shops or like new places that open and they're like, today I'm going to check out blah, blah, blah. And it's kind of like a vlog exploring the place. You don't need to have some crazy personality to do that.
you don't need to have a crazy personality. You don't actually on TikTok or on any platform. I feel like authenticity always does best. And you want to build up an audience that actually likes you for who you are. Like I feel very, very, very grateful to have an audience that I don't want to say like genuinely knows me because they don't actually know me, but like I would like to think that all of my YouTube videos are very, very authentic and they represent me as a person. So to have an audience that knows that part of me is like such a beautiful thing. And I feel like nowadays people blowing up from TikTok, it's just not the same. Like you don't know them as well. It's such short form content. Even the longer videos where people are talking, it's like it still feels very surface level. And I was telling someone this the other day. I feel like TikTok has turned into more of like a drama based thing. Like drama does the best on there. Girls exposing people, Love Island stuff, and then Instagram now is like more relaxing content doing well. And of course there's still like the viral stuff that goes viral on both platforms, but I go to Instagram more for like art related stuff and relaxing things that don't make me feel like I'm like my mind is becoming stupider and stupider.
I was about to actually say that if you're someone who wants to make content but you have no idea what to make it on, use TikTok within reason as like your little video diary. Like if you have a thought in your head that you're like, oh, I feel like I would tell this to my friends, or I feel like other people would probably think the same, or maybe other people would find this funny or interesting, just make a video of you talking about it.
And the people who blow up are the people who seem comfortable on camera.
Yeah.
If you're someone who's not comfortable on camera,
you have to be comfortable in front of the camera and like seem like you're almost just like on FaceTime with someone or something. And if you struggle with that, just practice making videos. You don't have to post them. Go film yourself doing whatever it is.
Way before I ever started filming videos, my entire life, I would sit in front of a camera for literally like sometimes 3 hours straight, or sit in front of a mirror for like 3 hours straight and pretend I was filming a YouTube video and just stare at myself in the mirror, pretend I was watching it. So like, maybe that's just an extreme form of manifestation, but I became very comfortable.
I did that stuff too, but that was because we were so obsessed with like watching YouTube videos growing up.
Yeah. I'd say just find where your passion is and follow it.
I wish my TikTok would go better, do better. It's not doing great.
You listen to their advice.
Yeah, but mine's body painting, and that's what I enjoy. So I'm not.
Well, then make
sometimes
videos
it gets taken down.
Yeah, but body painting is also a very niche thing, so
Yeah.
that makes it harder.
But sometimes it gets literally taken down. I think people report it because it's like, even though I'm all covered up and I do like the last details, it still
just
gets
like
reported.
that's a
part of
difficult
it, though.
thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
you
part of
can't
the body painting. It's on the
Yeah.
body.
Yeah.
And that just sucks. So.
do other art things.
You would
don't
have to do like
just do
prank
that.
stuff if you really wanted to go viral.
No, that's not true.
It has to be the things
yeah.
where like somebody's blended into a tree and then they like
No,
you
that,
see
either
them.
that or like something like mind blowing on yourself.
Yeah.
You can also
Yeah.
talk about it. Just like you're knowledgeable.
It's really hard
Yeah.
to blow
Yeah,
up
I've
with
told you
something
before
like that.
too that you should do a get ready with me while you're doing your makeup.
I know.
and
I thought
talking.
about that. And you know what? I'll tell you, for people who are struggling, because I understand this, because it literally is like a mindset. You almost psych yourself out of not doing it because
it's easy to
you
tell yourself-
don't think it's going to turn out good.
Well, but it's easy to tell yourself, oh, no one's going to watch this. It's not
That
going to
too.
do good, whatever. But you literally
Right.
can't think that. Like, I'm telling you, I've thought sometimes, oh, this video is going to do good. I just know it is. And I post it and it does.
Well, I was gonna say the opposite, where you think you think it's gonna do well and it doesn't, and I've experienced that too, where it's
Well,
like
and it doesn't. And that's very discouraging.
it's
and
very
it
discouraging. You should have the mentality of like it doesn't matter, because if you focus so much on this one number or like one set of views, that literally does not benefit you at all, unless
Yeah,
you're
well-
thinking in like a positive way of, oh, maybe what are some things I could maybe change
when
or
I post
experiment
the
with.
body painting stuff, I don't think about the likes afterwards. I just look at it like a week after. I'm like, ooh, that did terrible.
Well, because
and I enjoy body painting.
You're
so I
not
love
treating
it.
that as like a true passion of posting it then. Like if you're just posting it and you're like, oh, I'll look at it a week later, like you're just posting it to post it. You're not
Which is
posting it
still
because you're
fine.
like, yeah, which is still fine, but it's just like
Well, I don't want to focus on the
You
likes.
have to
and
have,
the
like, a-
stuff.
Shouldn't. No, I think that's a fine mentality.
Like one of them
to
I
have.
looked at, I'm like, oh, it has 64,000. That did pretty good. And the other one's got like 200. And I'm like, how the hell did that happen? And
I
the
don't
other one
know.
got taken down.
In my opinion, you sometimes do at least have to have like, it's not just a passion for what you're doing, but a passion for sharing what you're doing.
Yeah.
And if you're just posting it because you're like, oh, this is probably something I should do, but like you don't actually have like a passion for like the video that you're creating, like it's like you have to have both.
Just
like,
shouldn't be about likes and followers. That should
No,
never be.
it was never like that
That
for
should
me,
never
but
be the
like-
goal. I'm not even just talking about
Oh,
you,
yeah.
Mom. I'm talking about anyone. And I didn't.
It's
Granted,
not the
like
goal,
when I
but
started
that's the
posting on
reward.
YouTube, it took off pretty quickly. So I didn't experience this long period of like, why am I not getting views? And I'm very grateful for that. But I feel like in the beginning, I feel like the reason that happened was because I was literally posting because I had nothing else to do, and it was all I wanted to do. All I wanted to do was make videos and post them, and I was so excited to get them out. And my very first video was a prom vlog, and I had 0 subscribers. There was no guarantee that anyone would watch it. And I was so excited to edit it and post it and like even just show it to my friends and my family. And I feel like that passion just followed through into everything I
Yeah,
posted.
no, you worked hard
but
at
that's
that
what I'm
stuff,
saying.
but-
You had such a passion for posting that video and you couldn't wait to have it on like out there. And that's part of it, like having
Yes,
a
but
passion
we had
for
the
the
body
video.
paint channel before that, and she had an Instagram thing that was blowing up. That she was
It
doing
wasn't blowing up.
art from here up. I thought it was
Yeah,
doing
but
pretty
I don't
good.
think
blowing
that
up.
reflected on her YouTube
Wasn't
at
it?
all.
It was doing
It
good.
didn't. It didn't. That didn't have
That
anything
had no
to do with my
reflection
YouTube.
on her YouTube. She posted that without any connection, without anyone searching that up.
I don't know about
No,
that.
it didn't, Mom. It was my third. The Tinder video blew up. I feel like the only time it feels like actual people watch you instead of numbers is when you get approached in person. And
Right.
it's like almost a weird
The
experience.
comments make me feel like people, but like not the actual number I'm looking at.
Right.
The comments don't even make me feel like people anymore. Like it's so hard when you've been doing it for so many years. It's just like it doesn't feel real unless someone is looking in your face and telling you, oh my God, I've been watching you. I always get, I've been watching you since you had black hair. And then it's like, oh my God, a real human connection. But when it's just numbers on a screen, it just feels like this like weird toxic game.
Well, I remember when we started that channel, Brandon and Cory and Nick, you guys were like focused extremely on those numbers.
Well, because we didn't have the same passion for body painting that you did, obviously. We cared more about the results.
Right.
They've always been like that.
Yeah, I remember the first time we got 10,000, I was downstairs, you screaming from upstairs. Oh my God, did you look at it?
Well, the way Instagram
Do you
used to
remember
work, yeah. So I did this when TikTok like first started becoming popular. there's the way I would look at it is there's like tiers to growth, like different levels of speed of growth. And I would always try to like max out the speed of growth on every platform. So we did that with body painting, but then on TikTok at one point it was like 1 million views an hour. Like just like as high paced, like it was like the top of the algorithm, just like soaring through the algorithm. And then like that was the fun part. Besides that, like I didn't care.
It is a crazy feeling. The one that we did in LA, the one that took off on Hollywood Boulevard, the girl that we painted. And we got like over 1 million.
Anyone can say anything they want about likes and views, but there's no better feeling than posting something that you're proud of and it actually gets likes and views. And also it's gonna make you feel if it gets no likes and views.
That's just kind of inevitable. It's just part of it. You grow, you get used to it, and you learn how to deal with it.
I mean, we were freaking out that it got 1 million. Remember that?
Well, especially when you've never experienced that. It's like a huge dopamine hit. But like then it goes away and then you're looking for the next one. So it's like you're chasing nothingness.
Yeah, exactly. You realize very quickly that it's not sustainable. It's not even a sustainable feeling.
You get a burst of like, oh, that's great.
Yeah, but
half the time you don't make anything off of it. It's not even about the feeling,
because genuinely like if your videos are doing good and you're treating this as a business and you're treating it as like your career, your income, like you do good based off of likes and views. So it's almost impossible to not focus on likes and views.
Yeah,
but also you focus on it too much, it has a negative impact on your career.
Of course it does. Anything can have a negative impact.
It's just a cycle. It's just figuring out the mindset for each individual person. So I hope that helped you.
That was a very long-winded answer, but
okay, we could probably end on that one then.